Okay, hello and welcome to GRcade's E3 press conference post-mortems, this time for EA, the first conference we've been doing. I'm your host, Cheeky Devlin, and with me tonight we have Dark Dragon 64 and we have Pedz. Say hello, Dragon.
Oh,
And Pedz.
Hi.
I said that but in the wrong order, but that'll do. Okay, so EA's conference is done, we've sat through it, and we're going to talk about what we've seen, what we thought about things, what we liked, what we didn't like, what worked, what didn't. So yeah, we're just going to dive right in, and we're going to start off talking about. Well, first of all, we're going to move on to Titanfall 2.
Thank you, Andrew.
So yeah, Dragon.
Well, everyone,
Titanfall
it's
2. What
great
do you
to be
think?
back near E3.
It looked good. It looked really interesting.
Titanfall
but
introduced millions of
not a
players
lot of
around
it's
the
really
world to the
Titanfall
fast,
2.
fluid,
It just
pilot
looked like
Titan
more of the
gameplay
same,
that is at the heart of
with
Titanfall.
one,
And with the release of Titanfall
at least
2,
one notable gameplay
we're excited to welcome
addition.
PS4 players to the
graphics are
franchise
kind
for
of
the
changed.
first time.
But yeah, nothing stood out
We'll
as
start off and look at
groundbreaking,
what players can
and
expect
I
out of
enjoyed
Titanfall multiplayer.
the beta of the first one, but I didn't pick it up on launch, and when I did eventually pick it up, I played it for a couple hours and dropped it, so I can't see myself buying this, or and if I do, sticking with it, but it looks interesting at the very least.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think it didn't show anything, like you said, groundbreaking. For myself, I was quite a big fan of the original Titanfall. So for me, it was exactly what I wanted. It was more of the same, more mechs. I think they said there's going to be 6 new types of Titan. There's going to be, like you said, the grappling hook, which, whether that's going to be a universal edition or maybe something just class based, I don't know, but I think it's kind of cool to see it in there. And melee weapons for Titans, and of course, the big thing is the single player campaign, which I think's something that I would certainly welcome. I think a lot of people maybe didn't get on with the first one simply because there wasn't much to keep them there beyond the multiplayer, and I think that single player campaign would definitely do that. What about yourself, Pedz? How did you feel about Titanfall 2?
well, I genuinely thought it looked pretty ace. I know it's like fast cut into like epic scenes, but I genuinely think it looked pretty damn cool. It looked like a step up from the first game. While I agree with Dragon, it didn't have anything groundbreaking. To be honest, in the second game of a series, you're not really expecting that to happen. You're expecting it to like improve on what it first did. That's my view, but yeah, I think it looked cool. Grappling hook was cool, and the fact they've added a story player is awesome. Couple of reasons. One, it gives people something extra to play. Two, if you come in late to the game, then people will have something to play. Yeah, well, they're destroying the multiplayer, but if you've got that single player aspect, you've got somewhere where you can practice your gameplay, practice your skills and stuff, instead of getting destroyed by everyone in multiplayer. So I think having a story player is a massive improvement on the first game.
It's a good way to prepare yourself for the multiplayer. I mean, I think we all know that single player modes are good for getting used to how things work, but obviously when you go into multiplayer, you're still going to get destroyed no matter how much of it you've played. But yeah, no, I think definitely it's going to be a good addition for people who maybe come a bit later to it, but also, like I said, for people who maybe don't get on particularly with multiplayer. Cal, for example, he doesn't particularly enjoy multiplayer games, so he's always asking us their bot options, what are they? And I think the bot options in Titanfall 1 were pretty limited. They weren't particularly interesting, and what single player mode there was.
Non-existent.
Well, it was non-existent in that it was, you couldn't set up custom matches. It was just the single player story mode, which was just bot matches, basically. There was nothing more to them. So I'm certainly interested to see a proper campaign with Titans and a bit of story to it, to see what they do with it.
What I liked as well is when they were showing the story mode trailer, I didn't notice so much in the multiplayer because it was like cut from one thing to another thing to another thing. In the story mode one, it looked like the Titan the guy must be was using seemed like more agile, more faster and stuff like that. So it looks like maybe they've done a lot more with variety to the Titans, whether it's different types of Titans have got different things, or if they've just improved the overall aspects of every single one. I don't know, but it looked interesting to me.
Yeah, I think they've definitely looked to have done more with the Titans. I mean, like I said, there's 6 new ones coming in. You know, they've got melee attacks now. I think they definitely will have some that are a bit more agile, and maybe the one that's presumably you have the one Titan through at most in the story mode. It seems to be slightly more agile, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I'm looking forward to. So that's coming out October 28th, and it's coming to PS4 as well. So I mean, it's not just the Xbox One and PC as it was on the original. So opening that up to a whole new bunch of players that never got a chance to play the first one.
Yeah, it's a good thing it's gone to the PS4 as well, because for EA it's a good thing because there's more sales, and for people who like the look of the first one and never got a chance to play it, it's only a good thing that they've got a chance with this one.
It's always good when games come to more platforms, so it's definitely a good move there.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless they're Nintendo.
Trust me.
Well,
Anyway,
I wouldn't say no to Nintendo games on PC. I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles and Dolphin is unbelievable. But
this is true.
that's
This is
a
true, but
story for
incredibly
another
off
time.
topic. So let's
Yeah.
move on.
One thing I'll say
we'll
about
talk
the
about
single
Nintendo.
player again, sorry for interrupting now, is it seemed like the Titan itself has like an AI, which didn't come across in the first game, because there was no
Yeah.
story mode.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, the Titan, the story seems to have a bit of personality to it, so it'll definitely be interesting to see what they do with that. Certainly, to see what kind of story they're going to tell. I can't imagine it's going to be the most sophisticated story in the world. It's probably be as in depth as your standard kind of COD story, but will still be good to see what they do. Anyway, moving on. After Titanfall, they moved on to Madden. Now, I have no real interest in Madden or American football, but I know that some people in the UK, and obviously in the US it's massive, but in the UK it does seem to be gathering more of a following as time goes on. What about you guys? Is there any interest from you in what's to come from Madden 17, or is it just are you like?
I've never been big on sports in real life, let alone video games. So for me, Madden completely went over my head. But actually, yeah, so I can't really say much about it. But it did lead into the esports move, which seems interesting. I mean, at least EA is trying to cater to a range of skill sets.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely one of the kind of big things that they took from that. In fact, I think they only spoke about the actual game very briefly. Most of it seemed to be focused on their push into the esports scene, with Madden especially. I think we've seen there they were talking they're going to have a $1 million prize fund for Madden 17 next year. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that, because I think support for esports is always a good thing. I mean, I do enjoy watching esports, maybe not so much things like like FIFA or Madden, but just having more money into the concept of it, making it more mainstream can only be a good thing. And Pedz, what about you? Do you take anything away from Madden? Is it anything that's of interest to yourself?
Not really. I've played Madden 25 and Madden 16. Yeah, Madden 25 was because it was the 25th anniversary or some crap. Now, when it comes to Madden 25 now, in 9 years time, they're going to be screwed. But in seriousness, I'm not. I've got a mild interest in the actual sport. I do watch the occasional American football game, but playing the game, I just don't like it very much. It's
Yeah.
just not fun to play. The only thing that come across as interesting to me was the fact that they were doing some sort of charity thing with it, and I think that's cool because people are going to benefit
Yeah.
from that.
I don't think that was actually specific to Madden. I think that was they were talking about that
No, I think it was
with
across
a few games.
a couple of games, but it
and
was
I think-
announced with Madden.
Yeah,
But,
the charity
yeah.
move is great because, well, donating to any worthy cause is always a good thing to see. But
Yeah.
at least it's doing so.
The only
Two
thing
games.
I think, and obviously giving money to charity is always good, and it's kind of cool that they're doing it. But at the same time, part of me is kind of looking at it going, great, why not just give the charities the money? Why go through the whole song and dance of you know, oh, what you have to do this and this earns money for the charity. Why not just give the charity the money? That's what I don't get. You know,
That I agree is a good point, but I feel like I'll give EA the benefit of the doubt, and it's something
yeah.
that isn't just you don't need to necessarily just apply it to this concept. But a lot of charitable acts in that you sponsor someone to do something, and you think, why not just give the money anyway?
Yeah, I
agree.
mean, I totally get that. I mean, I do my sponsored Sick Kid Save Point thing every year. So yeah, I can kind of get that, but at the same time, it's like EA. I don't know. Maybe it's just the cynic in me. The cynic in me just sees it as, you know, it's a PR ploy for them.
I guess it's.
But I don't know. It's
on
just
the
me
one
being
hand,
cynical.
yeah, it could be seen as that, but on the other hand, it could be seen as getting these charities awareness with a group of people that would not know them otherwise. I mean,
Well, I suppose
at
yeah,
least two of
that's a
them were
very fair
coding.
point. Yeah, that's a
At
very
least
fair
two of
point.
them were coding ones, but I think a couple of others. There's one from the UN, and I can't remember the other one. They seemed like charities that wouldn't necessarily be in gamers' minds, and so at least it's a way of raising awareness for
Yeah,
them.
no, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a very fair point. To be fair, I can't really argue with that, and not that I want to argue with that. You know, it just I mean, at the same time, I was looking at it. I was like, why not just give them the money? But yeah, I suppose it raises awareness as well. So okay, yes, well done,
I think
EA.
one of
Good
the
thing.
one of the donations was like a female
Yeah,
thing
that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking of.
for working in like the games industry maybe or something. I'm not sure exactly, but that's cool because at the
Yeah,
end
it
of
was
the
stuff
day,
like that. Yeah.
they get shat on a lot, women. So it's good that they trying to help people be aware that there are women coders and they're good at the shit.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think it's part of a broader push to get more diversity in technical fields, not just coding, but any kind of science and technical field, like games development or coding or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a big kind of push in general, I think, to try and do things like that. So that's good. We support that. We want more of that. Anyway, okay. So moving on. Next up, we had Bioware and Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, as I've said previously, prior to this, I've never been hugely into Mass Effect. I played the first one, I really enjoyed it, but I just never graduated on to 2 and 3. Now, from what I can see, I think this looks pretty good. It looks like it's going to be the start of a new trilogy. Some good looking CGI, I suppose. What about you, Dragon? Are you a Mass Effect fan?
I've been intrigued by the series. I bought all 3 games in Origin, played the first for a very short time. I've been meaning to go back to it, but never did. Though the trailer, while CGI, and I'm never a fan of CGI trailers, has got me interested. It looks like No Man's Sky in that you're discovering planets, but it's backed by what we know Bioware does with RPG games.
Yeah, there's more to it than just, oh, you're going through space and you're finding stuff. Which, as much as I'm looking forward to No Man's Sky, it does look like that a lot of it is based heavily on the exploration aspects, whereas obviously something like Mass Effect is going to bring a storyline and RPG systems within that as well, so it would be interesting to see that. Now, Pedz, I do believe you are a Mass Effect fan. You've played all 3. Are you looking forward to Mass Effect Andromeda?
I'm a massive fan of Mass Effect.
Mass fan.
No, yeah, I'm a big fan of the first 3 games, apart from the ending of 3. But I'm really looking forward to Andromeda. More Mass Effect can only be a good thing, and it's a shame that you two have never progressed past the first game or some of the first game because you're missing out on genuinely great games. But I was looking at the CG stuff and behind the scenes, I was thinking this game is going to be awesome. But I was just disappointed that it's been teased now and shown now for years, and there's still no game footage.
Yeah.
That's my biggest disappointment with it. Is like, where's the gameplay? Why is there no fucking gameplay? What is going on?
Yeah, I think that's a kind of a recurring theme for EA's entire conference. It's like, where's the gameplay? It's there's not a lot to be shown, and what has been shown was just in these brief trailers that they showed. I mean, Titanfall was the same. You got some snips of gameplay interspersed with CGI trailers. With this, it was a case of you got again some snips of CGI and some artwork and some some video footage, but no actual gameplay that I could tell anyway. So from that point of view, yeah, I think it was a disappointing showing for Mass Effect. Certainly from my point of view, I mean, as somebody who, like I said, I've played the first game, I really enjoyed it, and I do want to kind of go back to the series and I want to play more of it. So it certainly piqued my interest, and I'm going to be quite likely to go back and probably replay the first one soon, and then move on to the second and so on. But this definitely, I think, I would have liked to have seen more of it.
The good thing about this game is, as well, though, is if you don't decide to go back to the first game and the second and third, this game seems to be completely separate story. Yeah, the first game is all set in the Milky Way, about the Reapers and stuff. This game is
The Andromeda
looks
Galaxy.
like the Andromeda Galaxy, a small ship of people. I'm assuming human and some aliens from in the Milky Way galaxy go to Andromeda, and it's just them. And everything is new to them. Every race they come across will be new to them. It just sounds like it's going to be so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will definitely be interesting to see where they go, and I think they did say obviously it's a whole new story and new characters, so I think it might be a good jumping on point for somebody who's never played the others, or maybe has no interest in playing the others, but would still like to maybe get on board with it. So yeah, I think it's looking good, and obviously from the behind the scenes footage that they showed, obviously I think you saw Mako tanks, you saw what looked like another Spire, definitely, and some familiar races as well. I felt so. I mean, it definitely looks like either some of them are coming with you, or there's going to be some of them already there. And you'll maybe find out why they're there. I don't know. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. Okay, so next up, I think it was a lot of stuff about supporting the community and stuff, and I think this is where they talked about the charity stuff. I don't think it came up before this, but yeah. So and they said, oh, we've sold a lot of DLC basically, and we're going to sell even more DLC. So, and then I think they were saying that they're going to have that the Outer Rim expansion for Battlefront's going to be free to play this weekend. Is that what they said?
I think they talked about something called like Play to Give, which was
Play to Give was that was the charity thing. Yeah.
That was that's the charity initiative.
Yeah.
And this is where $1 million will be given to 5 different charities. And I think that you complete challenges in different games like Battlefield, Battlefront, FIFA, Madden 16, and Galaxy of Heroes, a Star Wars mobile game.
Yes.
To get those to push those donations.
Yeah, it was weird though. The only thing that they mentioned that I picked up on is that gave any kind of incentive to players other than just doing it was they mentioned the FIFA Ultimate Team Pack as an incentive for doing it, but they didn't mention anything else for any of the other games. So I'm wondering if presumably there'll be something that you get for doing it in these games as well.
Yeah, for Battlefield there's a gold battle pack. In Star Wars, there's this 3 times score event, so you get triple the score and credits.
Okay.
Galaxy of Heroes, the mobile Star Wars games, is focused around female characters, and Madden has over you get 2,000 coins, and those are so yeah. There's something for each of the games, but it's just geared towards getting that $1 million to those 5 charities.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, sounds good. We are all for that. So, yes, well done, EA. Okay, so yeah, the next thing, and they kind of went on a little bit of length with this, was FIFA 17. Now, I'm kind of like yourself, Dragon. I don't deal with sports very well. I'm not sporty. I don't. It's not that I dislike sports. It's that I'm never very good at them. I'm not very good at sports games, and especially not very good at FIFA. But certainly, I thought there was still some kind of interesting stuff that they showed with FIFA. Obviously, I think the kind of main thing that they showed was when that Alex Hunter guy came out, and everybody's like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And then it's basically we're doing a story mode for FIFA.
I've never been interested in sports games, but I still appreciate the quality and how good of a job they do of replicating what you see on TV in big matches. that story mode looked horrendous. I mean, even in
yeah.
previous years with the FIFA footage, I think, okay, you know, it looks good. I can appreciate what they're doing. I won't play it though. And the gameplay outside of it, when they talked about changes to the actual gameplay, looked good, but that career mode was terrible in my opinion. I don't know why. Well, I guess I know kind of why it was added to add something different, but
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean,
move.
to me, it kind of smacked of, right, we need to do something new for FIFA. Last year, I think, what was it, they had female teams and players in, which was great, brilliant, cool, nice addition. This year, it kind of feels almost like, oh, what we're going to add in, I don't know. Put in a story mode for a player, okay. Now, and I think I had a quick look at the thread after the conference had been up, and somebody said, well, you know, do you get to make choices off the pitch as well? So, I mean, do you get to choose to go on all-night benders, take drugs and sleep with your friend's wife? You know, are these things that you're going to be able to do? And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, that kind of looks like what they're billing it as. Like, you know, you're going to have this player that you're guiding through from, you know, the lower ranks up to, you know, being, you know, world class. And you're going to have these off-field decisions that you can make, which, you know, basically means at that point it's not a football game. It's you know, it's like a life simulator. So it's turning into The Sims almost. But yes, it looked interesting. It smacked altogether of me of we have run out of ideas and we need to do something new. And then it was strange though, because just as it was finishing, I was like, oh, okay, well they're doing that. I was like, it's very strange. They haven't gone on about the incremental changes they've made to the game to make it even better and more realistic. And then no sooner had the thought left my head than out it comes to announce the incremental changes they made to make the game even better and more realistic. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of time spent on it, basically just boiled down to, yeah, it's this year's FIFA.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, even though I don't play the game, the changes to the gameplay look good. I think the only thing letting it down was the that story mode. You know, if I had more time, I actually would play FIFA, just try to get into it. But you know, so many games, so little time. But it looks good, other than that story mode.
Yeah. What about you, Pedz? What did you think of FIFA? Are you sold?
No, I'm not a FIFA kind of guy. I prefer American football to football. I prefer rugby to football, so football can go away. I played the last two FIFA games simply because of EA Access. So I made a character in whatever the game mode is called, and did a season as a goal-scoring awesome guy, and it's just like, why am I playing this? I could be playing something good. My feelings as I play it. I'm playing it thinking, at least it's something short, and you can have one match in 5-10 minutes. But then I'm thinking, I could just play something good.
I don't think it's a case of it's not good. I mean, I think it's just maybe not our type of game. Yeah, I mean, I don't particularly get on with football games. The only football games I like are football games with a twist. You know, where it's slightly, maybe a bit more arcadey. Something like, Rocket League. Mario Strikers, sensible soccer, where it is, but they are technically football games, but they don't try and be this realistic simulation of football. Even like in old arcade soccer games, even old arcade football games, just they had a feel to them that just was much more instantaneous. You didn't need to spend ages getting really good at it, and that was partly my problem with football games. I don't get on with them on my own. That's not to say I don't enjoy playing them when I do, but I don't have the patience to spend the time to get really good at them and really into them. So for me, yeah, again, FIFA it's always that part of the conference where I kind of almost mentally switch off, because I know it's not for me, it's not my thing. But certainly for people who are into FIFA, I think the changes that they've put in will be interesting, and it'll be good to see what they do with it. Oh, and let us, of course, not forget Premier League managers. Mourinho, Klopp, Wenger, and who was the other one? There was somebody else they mentioned.
I can't remember.
Is it the Liverpool dude? I don't know. I know you said Wenger and Mourinho. I don't know who the other guy is.
Klopp.
Yeah, if he's not the Liverpool dude, then it's the guy who manages Liverpool.
Yeah, I think it's the Liverpool manager.
Because the guy on stage seemed to be a Liverpool fan.
Peter
think the
Moore.
guy
Yeah,
on
Peter
stage
Moore he's a
was,
massive Liverpool fan. Yeah.
I think the guy who come on, the manager that come on, was the Man U manager. I'm sure they said that he was in there as well.
He's
Yeah,
he
that's
should be in there.
that's Jose Mourinho. He's the
yeah.
new Man U manager. He's one of the best managers ever. But yeah, what that is to the game, I don't know. Nothing, as far as I can tell. But here we go, and
My
we all
favourite-
fail as men
oh, sorry.
for not knowing anything about this. So let's move on before we are roundly pilloried, as we should be.
I was going to say one thing. My favourite thing about the FIFA 17 stuff was when he's going blah 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 from Liverpool, and then you just hear people going boo. Like, really?
My favourite part of the whole thing was when Peter Moore's standing there, Jose Mourinho comes out, and it was almost as if Peter Moore was terrified to look him in the eye. He just wouldn't look at him. It was really strange, and you just get the idea that Jose Mourinho's like, why am I even here? You know, I'm here to get some early code for my son. That's it. You know. But yeah, so FIFA is a thing. If you like football, if you like FIFA, I'm sure it'll be good for you. Anyway, moving on, we then got
Unless Pedz is
Patrick.
better.
Yes, unless Pedz is better. But yeah, moving on, we had Patrick Sutherland come out. He was then basically kicked off EA's indie section, where they announced EA Originals, where they will be handpicking indie projects to help through development, and all the profits will be going to the developers. So that sounds like a pretty decent kind of scheme. Although I'm sure they announced something like this last year as well.
I remember the conference taking time to announce Unravel. I wasn't paying enough attention to recall a scheme like EA Originals, but a scheme. I don't mean that to sound bad. I'm just mean a project or whatever. But yeah, EA does seem to be doing work to push indies and give them a bit more of a boost than they would on say Steam Greenlight, which is good for getting projects out there. But I feel like the guy on stage, whose company was making Fee.
Yep, Fee, which
could have done a better job of explaining it, because to me it looked like Ori, and I'm thinking, we have Ori. I can't see what this is doing to distinguish itself. But
yeah, I think, well, talking about Fee or Fee or however it's been pronounced, I'm not sure, but I think that's coming from Zoink Games. It did seem like EA have now got this thing where every year they're going to push out some really nervous indie developer and just let him give a wee speech about his game, which is great for the indie developer. But the part of me in my mind is just picturing, Andrew Wilson and Peter Moore backstage laughing their asses off at this guy struggling through a pitch, which I'm sure they're not. But certainly, I mean, I thought Fee again, whatever you pronounce it, looked quite interesting. I mean, it looked to me like, graphically, I thought it was almost like a nice mix between Limbo and Journey. And just the way it was presented. From what I could tell, it looks almost like a kind of puzzle platformer with some like musical elements kind of thrown in, which I thought was quite interesting. So yeah, I think it's going to be one that'll be interesting to see where it goes, and hopefully it'll turn to be pretty good, because from what I heard, Unravel didn't really set the world alight when it came out. Get kind of mixed reviews, so hopefully this doesn't go the same way. Pedz, what did you think?
Me, I thought the scheme they're doing is good. I don't know if they call it a scheme, but a scheme I'm calling it.
It's their evil scheme.
With the masterminds behind there, like. No, I thought Fee looked pretty cool. I agree with Dragon that they kind of did give me an Ori vibe. But when they showed the gameplay of it, it's completely different to Ori. Ori's like an action platform, a platforming style game.
Yeah.
And this looks like not an open world, but it looks like a explory adventure type of game, which if you want to class as an explory adventure game, I think it looked really interesting. The visuals I thought were nice. They've got kind of like a dull kind of sad tone to them, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
it was quite subtle, quite muted in places, but then you had the kind of flashes of light and colour. I think that kind of, and I can see why you would say Ori, because I think that kind of flash of white light was very Ori in places. So yeah, I mean, I thought it looked gorgeous. I think the idea of all these creatures in this forest all have, you know, music and sound associated with them, and then this malevolent force, you know, these, what do they call them, silent ones, come in, who make no sound, and I get the impression they're almost trying to steal the sound, or they're trying to, you know, take all the sound. That's quite interesting.
They're trying to like make everything silent. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be kind of interested to see how that goes, but yeah, hopefully we'll hear more about that in the months to come. Which brings us on to what I think was possibly the most disappointing part of the whole conference for me. It was the Star Wars section. I think going in, a lot of people were expecting to see something, you know, see what Visceral have been working on, see what, you know, see anything, see new Battlefront content. And I think beyond the announcement that there's a new Battlefront coming next year, there wasn't really much. On Respawn are working on something, but that was really about it. There was nothing of any note, I felt.
I mean, before the conference, somehow I knew about Battlefront 2. I can't remember who first leaked that, but so that wasn't surprising. Bioware doing the Old Republic, more for the Old Republic, isn't surprising. It happened last year. Again, to the disappointment that Knights of the Old Republic 3 is still dead.
Well, the only thing I would say about that is they did say they were doing something. Because they did say, oh, you know, we've got lots of ideas for stuff and we're doing stuff outside of the Old Republic, so it kind of said to me that they are doing something, they're just maybe not in a place where they can say anything about it yet.
I'm doubtful that whatever they're doing is Knights of the Old Republic 3. I think it might at best be a new game set in the Old Republic, but I think that Knights 3 is dead, which is a shame. There's actually a great interview with Chris Avallone about what Knights 3 could have been. But as for what we saw, you know, Bioware, it was nice. It was the Old Republic, just, you know, so that wasn't really surprising. But I think it was Visceral Games. Is that the one? Is that the company that now has Amy Hennig?
Yes, I believe so.
That looked like Uncharted Star Wars, and I'm not big on Uncharted, so that looked quite worrying.
I'm a big fan of Uncharted, so Uncharted Star Wars, great.
And the fact that everything's years away is just really disappointing.
Yeah, I think they said, was it new Battlefront next year? Visceral's game's out in 2018, and there weren't even dates for anything else, you know, nothing from Respawn's game. Other than it'll have lightsabers in it, which you saw from the motion capture stuff they were doing, and nothing on what Bioware are doing. So yeah, quite disappointing. There were a couple of things I picked up on actually in the kind of montage video they showed, and I'm sure there's loads of other bits and pieces that I missed, but one thing I noticed was that Respawn, they said also it's doing a third-person Star Wars game. They're doing, you know, the motion capture stuff, so there's going to be lightsabers involved in it. There was one point, and I think it was the Sony VR headset you seen, and then it cut, you know, almost like a cutaway of a laptop screen, and it was an X-Wing cockpit. And basically yes, VR X-Wings, my god, that, yes please, into my veins.
I know what you're thinking, but my feeling is at best it's VR Battlefront, a VR mode for Battlefront, not the classic X-Wing games reborn with VR.
I know, but I just want to let the dream live for just a little bit, you know.
I did that
one day,
because it doesn't end well.
They can't possibly not do it. I mean, if that's right and they are doing VR, even if it is Battlefronts to be in an X-Wing or a TIE fighter, you know, even if they do handle like absolute shit, it's still going to be awesome to do. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more of what that is. Okay, so yeah, and after that it was Battlefield, really. Not that they actually showed much of anything of Battlefield at the actual conference. You know, what to get from it, maybe stuff we already know. It's going to be up to 64 players, it's going to have dynamic weather, you know, the destruction looks really, really nice. And then you've got the new class of vehicles, the behemoths. You're going to have, you know, an armoured train, battleships, zeppelins, and I think there was something else, but I can't remember what they said. But certainly, you know, looks quite interesting. The open beta is going to be in the summer. Yeah, I mean, conference. What would you guys think of that section?
That the stuff we saw in the conference didn't look appealing, but the 64-player match afterwards really shows how great the game can be and actually is already. So that kind of puts stuff onto my radar. But in a busy season, I probably won't pick it up.
Yeah, the timing of it's going to be tricky for that, because you've got it out. I think it's within a month of Titanfall 2. You've got Battlefront. You've got all this stuff coming around at that time. It's, you know, I'm sure it's not going to struggle as Battlefield. You know, it'll do very, very well. It just, you know, I think some people are going to have to choose what title it is they're getting. And to be honest, I think Battlefield would probably win out. If it's a choice between Battlefield and Titanfall, it'll probably go Battlefield.
It does look, in terms of quality, as the better game anyway.
It looks
and
solid.
The brand probably is stronger, so it probably will win out, and for good reason at least. It does look great. The destructible environments, how the behemoths work with the gameplay, not just you're using them, but when they destroy themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I loved that.
Like it's shaping up very well.
Yeah, I mean, I loved that. I mean, I think when you saw a little bit of that in the conference, you know, I think you saw a little bit of, you know, the Zeppelin crashing, and basically just wiping out whatever it lands on. That looked phenomenal. But a couple of things I took away from the live act, well, the 64-player match that was played after the conference was, I think, the guys that were commentating on it, they said you're going to have localized vehicle damage, basically. So you're able to focus on like the tank tracks. Or the weapon systems, you know, and disable the vehicles that way, which I thought was really cool. The new kind of 3D spawn map, so you can see what's happening on the actual map, rather than just, you know, icons moving around the 2D map. I thought that was really cool. And then again, you know, you had the Zeppelin crashing and just wiping out everything beneath it, which was just beautiful to see. What about you, Pedz? I mean, are you interested in Battlefield? Is it something that you're going to be keeping an eye on?
Definitely. I really enjoyed Battlefield 4 after all this hiccups were sorted out. But it was cool. I was thinking, is it just going to be Battlefield with a different skin? That was the biggest fear. Hopefully, it isn't going to just be that. But I thought it was damn cool, to be honest, and I'm definitely interested about it. I'm also really interested in the dynamic weather as well, because from the way they explained it, the weather actually has an effect on the actual gameplay itself, like
like
weather
on
kind
terrain
of like,
and things like that. Maybe.
And how you can't hear something maybe from heavy rain as well as you could in a nice clear day. Another thing I wanted to know is, which obviously isn't a question for you two to answer, is dynamic weather on all multiplayer maps? I asked because one of the commentators, when they were playing it when they went to a new map after one team won, said, now this map has dynamic weather on it. Sometimes you could start and it's sunny, sometimes it's raining. So does that mean that not all maps has dynamic weather?
No, I think it was the same map. I think just the first match that they did was like a sunny, bright day, but I think when the next one started, it was a bit cloudy and rainy. But I think it then clears up as the match kind of went on. So I don't think it's a case of some maps will have it and some maps won't. I think it will perhaps be tailored to, you know, slightly, but I would expect to see it in every map. But certainly from a personal point of view, I mean, I think it looks absolutely fantastic. It's probably the most interested I've been in a Battlefield game since they showed off 3 for the first time, and even then, you know, probably more so because I loved the period Battlefield games. I loved 1942. I loved Vietnam. So going back to something that isn't, you know, modern military man running about, you know, is really appealing to me. And I love the tanks. I love the Zeppelins. I love everything about it. It looks fantastic. And yeah, a big wide open farmland, countryside. It reminds me so much of 1942, and I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to this open beta, and I'm just hoping my PC can handle it.
What I like this is the fact that there was a release date. It was literally announced like a couple of weeks back, and there's a release date for it. Unlike 90% of the games they showed. it's actually got a release date.
Yeah, and it's what,
And
3
it
or 4
actually
months
has
away.
gameplay footage as well.
Yeah, I think they missed a trick. I think
That's
if they'd
it.
put that footage in the actual conference, it would have lifted the conference up a bit. It would have ended on a high note, going, "Yeah, here's Battlefront. I keep calling it Battlefront. Here's Battlefield. Here's what it looks like. Here's some actual gameplay footage." Even if it had been cut together in a kind of trailer form, but it was clearly in-game footage rather than just in-engine stuff cut a funny way. Instead of having to, okay, now we're going to have a live match which you can watch, which, don't get me wrong, was cool, but I think they could have put more in the actual conference.
Surprised by the people who were there, all like Snoop Dogg and Terry Crews and stuff like that.
Well, they like to get big celebrity names in, and these celebrities, Snoop Dogg especially is a big gamer, from what I hear, but it was quite funny to watch because at one point he was using a pad, and he just looked like he was pushing up against the wall, and I don't know if he didn't know what he was doing, or if he was just stoned at his nut, which is very possible.
No,
I think more than a few
actual...
people in the queue had partaken of things, so. Yeah, well, if I'd had to queue up and talk to that douchebag before going in, I'd have been smoking something as well. But yeah, I think it looks good. And big Terry Crews and his keyboard and mouse supremacy, I was like, good man.
It was probably the best thing about the conference is the fact that they added that on,
Yeah.
like an hour stream. I think that is the best thing to come from E3 this year.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, is there anything else coming from E3 from this conference time? Like, obviously later in the year they could release something else, but I'm thinking, from the conference
for
point
them,
of view,
yeah,
that
I
was
think
definitely the best thing about it was
yeah.
the fact it was after the conference. But the gameplay looked sublime.
Yes, good word. Yeah, no, I think it looks really good. So, but yeah, I think the conference as a whole was. I don't want to say it was awful, because it wasn't awful, there was nothing there that we didn't know about already. There wasn't a single surprise, there wasn't anything that kind of was like, wow, what's this? This looks really, really cool. It was all stuff we knew was coming, and the stuff that we knew was coming that we wanted to see more of, we did. Which was, there was nothing really of Mass Effect. There was hee-haw Star Wars. FIFA and Madden, again, great if you're into those things, but, everything else, I think, for me, the highlights were Titanfall 2 and Battlefield, easily.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just found it an extremely disappointing show. There was nowhere near enough gameplay, it was mainly CG trailers. Star Wars was just why bother bringing it there? They may have just come out and said, we're making some Star Wars games, they'll be out in a few years' time.
That's exactly what they
on
did.
Something else. Yeah, but they could have just moved on and had some other games shown instead to make up for it.
Yeah.
Because instead they wasted 5 minutes on people just going, yes, we're doing this because we like this. It's just
yeah, it's like newsflash, people working in games industry like Star Wars.
But yeah, the only thing from that conference that I didn't know about before going in, and I do now, is that Respawn Entertainment, the people who make Titanfall and Titanfall 2, are working on a Star Wars game.
Yes, that I didn't know, and that was the one thing amongst the Star Wars kind of section where my ears kind of perked up, and I was like, oh, okay, that could be quite interesting. Okay,
but I think that
let's see what you do.
Respawn's working on Battlefront 2, so with DICE, so
really,
it's hard to It's hard to see how much of an input.
No, I don't think it was Respawn. I think it was another company.
Yeah, it was Jade Raymond's company, Motive. I think they said was working with DICE on it.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. I got mixed up. It was Motive I was thinking about. So yeah, it should be interesting to see what Respawn does with the license.
They'd probably make a Call of Duty style game because that's what their pedigree is, isn't it? Because they were all whatever they were called.
Anyway, that's going to be us, I think. Okay, so we'll end up with. Sorry, I'm going to say that again. Okay, right. So I think that's going to be us. Okay, guys. So scores out of 10, Dragon.
3. There wasn't anything. There was nowhere near enough gameplay footage. Nothing really big that we didn't know about from last year. And what we did see was relatively disappointing, notably lack of gameplay in Mass Effect, Star Wars being years out, and Titanfall not like enticing me any more than the first one did.
Okay, so 3. That's low. Pedz.
I'm gonna give it a 3, just like Dragon. I can't really add anything to what Dragon has said because he's basically hit the nail on the head. It was massively disappointing, and I was gonna say too few surprises, but there was literally 0 surprises. There was nothing that came out of there at all. The only thing that they showed really that I didn't know about gameplay wise was their fee. So, but other than that, I'm just disappointed with it really.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really argue with anything you've said there. I'm going to be a bit more generous. I'm going to give that a 4. Simply because I did like what I seen in Titanfall 2. I liked what I seen of Battlefield. Everything else, like I said, was either stuff we already knew about that we then didn't see anything more of, or it was stuff like the usual FIFA Madden that does nothing for me. Fee looked interesting, but again, yeah, I mean, where's all the gameplay footage of all these games? It's just here's some CGI trailer stuff. You just put it on your YouTube channel here. Anyway, that's going to be us. So I just want to thank Dragon and Pedz for joining me this evening. Dragon, thank you. Pedz, thank you.
Thank you.
No problem, man.
It was good to be here.
You're very welcome. We will be back to, well, I say tomorrow morning. It'll be tomorrow morning. We're recording for the Bethesda conference, which at the moment is going to be myself and Trellis. So you never know, we're making somebody else in on that, but right now it's going to be 2 of us, and we're going to talk about what they see, or what we see. So yep, thanks for joining us, and I will catch you all next time. Say bye bye, guys.
Good night.
Good night. Goodbye, everyone. Have fun.